Hello, good day. A short introduction. I'm just a Singaporean trying my very best to have a sustainable income. So when the time comes, when I have to part with my company and do trading at a full time, I'm ready. So a side story. I did took a year of doing full-time trading and it was good. And I developed some core strength, some strength in the short-term trading area and spend my time, the rest of my time doing workout and also drinking coffee. So as we are going into August, I'm changing my trading style to go with the market. I have shared that I am reducing my instant noodle dividend to a much more longer term buffet strategy, which means a longer time frame like 4 to 5 weeks in the market. I will share a prelude of what I'm looking at in the future, and that is Singapore rate. Today, I'll be going into Singapore office rate. So please do support my channel and subscribe and like so that you can get free content. Your support will be well appreciated. Let's go. So a recap. I have sold my Hang Seng ETF in the previous video, and this ETF is very heavy in stock like Alibaba, Tencent, Meituan, JD, and Xiaomi. I'm preparing to go back into Hang Seng ETF again. And you can see that for the Hang Seng ETF, so within a 1 week position, it make about 16% return. Secondly, when I look into Tesla, I'm also share my view in a global trading forum that I'm thinking that Tesla will have a correction. And I'm looking to collect some Tesla stock when it moves into the blue arrow position. Finally, while China and US are making its next move, I will be also doing the analysis on the S-REIT. Due to my time constraint of a full-time job and also family activity, I will share my thought by looking into today on the Singapore office rate alone. In this sharing, I am looking into 6 of the Singapore REITs, and you can see their name from Elite Commercial to Prime US REIT. And I perform a quick overview on their EBITDA and also cash because in a high interest rate environment, EBITDA and cash are very important. You will see on the left hand side, these are their ticker in the Singapore stock market. And the right hand side is their pricing from high to low in the past year. Honestly, I have not been looking into rate for the longest time because in a high interest rate environment, rates are typically very sensitive to interest rate. Therefore, with the projection that interest rate may be stabilizing and even reducing in 2024, I think this is the right time to pick up some good rates. What does interest rate actually affect on the rates in Singapore stock market? It actually influences the cost of debt and the demand for real estate. When the interest rate rises, because rates are being used to generate income based on their dividend, then the consumer or the investor may look into bank deposit that is more appealing. For instance, the deposit that is coming out from US Treasury bill of 2 years is around 5%, right? So by looking at that, then of course the demand from the rates will be reducing. Secondly, rates also being affected by higher borrowing costs. And therefore, with a high interest rate environment, they will be facing a much more difficult operating environment. So today, when looking at the 6 office REITs that operate in different countries, for instance, like UK, German, US, Singapore as well, I also look into CBRE website. They did mention that there will be high economic headwind, slow leasing, but the rental still remains stable. And where the Fed interest rate is maintaining about 5.25% to 5.5, the highest more than 22 years, because of the projection, my projection that interest rate will be stabilized in 2024, I think it's the right time to look into some of the rate. So based on the 6 REIT that I'm looking at, I would think that I-REIT and Keppel Pacific REIT seems to be a much more attractive uh, REIT to actually look at. Next, I will be going into the CME FedWatch tool. This is a web-based tool that analyzes the probability of change in a Federal Reserve interest rate, and is based on the price of 30 days Federal Fund, traded at CME Group. If you look into the graphical presentation, you will see that for December 2023, there is about 60% that believe that the interest rate will be at 5.25 to 5.5. And there's also a higher percent that is actually looking at a higher, from 5.5 to 6%. And if you look into March 2024, in fact, the interest rate is looking at 4.75 to 5.25 with a 70%. And going into June 2024, the interest rate is actually looking at about 64% from 4.5 to 5%. Therefore, based on the federal target interest price, we do see that the market is pricing at an interest rate of 4.5% to 5%, then currently that we are seeing at 5.25 to 5.5%. So with that, I think by having a projection of how the interest rate is moving, then the attention may come back into the S-rate area. However, there's no need to be too urgent or too fast, because it will take time for the whole market to play out by itself. And looking at August and September, I think these are the 2 months that are very important to see the price action, both for US stock and also for China stock. So next, in summary, for short-term trading, which is about 15 to 20% of my portfolio, I'm now waiting patiently for both US and China market to play out by itself. As I started as a short-term trader, I'm very much looking into anticipation of how the market will perform. And once there is some performance and there's some price action, I will also share with the community here. Meantime, I will start to analyze on the S-rate slowly. For those who are holding S-rate, do subscribe to my channel, and I'll provide you my open view for your consideration. Finally, I have sold off some of my China position, including Hang Seng ETF and also NIO, to cash back into my short-term trading account. For instance, for NIO, I bought it in about 10.91 a month ago, and I sold just recently, I think 2 days ago at 14.6. And with that, my cash position in my short-term trading account is actually near to around 50%. I will be waiting patiently to rotate the position to earn more dividend, as I've been doing for the past 3 months. So in order to get my latest analysis, please do like and subscribe. By the way, these are non-financial advice and just used to monitor my own trading from intraday to 4-week duration. Thank you, and stay tuned.